the new addition to Lighthouse and Streets, the days of loot runs where you're not running into anybody and having to fight chads is over. If you go onto YouTube right now, there's tons and tons of videos of Streets and Lighthouse loot runs. But what about the good old days when you could load in Hatchet, not see a single person, and fill your pockets up to the brim with rubles? I'm talking about Reserve. Let's go back to the old day today, and I'm going to show you a sweet loot run that requires little to no PvP, and you get to fill your pockets up to the brim. So join me as we load into Reserve. Okay, so we are going to spawn in the close spawn to Black Pawn, and this is probably the best spawn you can get for this route. In this video I'm showing you, the first thing I love to do is just sprint over to Black Bishop and look at these sandbags and looking at the other bunker, because people can spawn there and they typically run this way because they love to go under Black Bishop and down to the bunker. So just take a look and make sure no one's running your way, and then it looks all clear. The first room we like to go to is drop down room, but I like to buy the key just because it's easier to exit from the door instead of jumping out the window and down. So I like to get the key, and it's pretty cheap. It looks like 11K. And then I like to just loot this room fully here. Tons of loot on the shelves, tech loot, and things like that. Plus 2 computers all the time, and then a mix of duffel bags that can spawn in this room. And you'll see that a lot in this video. The Black Bishop building has tons of duffel bags, but with the new dynamic looting system, they can sometimes not spawn. But in this raid, we get tons and tons of duffel bags, and it typically is that way. So you'll just vary from raid to raid on how many duffel bags you can get. But we quickly loot this room because this is a high targeted area. So I like to get in and get out of that room, and then we'll go and just loot the rest of the second floor, kind of targeting the rooms with the better loot. So this loot's got some more med bags and things like that. I'm always in these just in case, lead X's and stims and things like this for this med crates. And then we're going to run down and loot the computers. All in all, in this Black Bishop, I believe there is 6 to 7 computers. So getting graphics cards from this is very high. I've gotten, 3 to 4 graphics cards in a day just running this route. So I don't get a graphics card in this raid, but, there's plenty that I get running this route. Tons of filing cabinets, so keep an eye out for that. The filing cabinets are totally up to you since they're kind of slower to loot. But early on, I like to loot them, and then as I go into the route, depending on how full my bag is, I typically skip some of the filing cabinets just because they're loud and they do take a while to loot. So we're just going to kind of loot everything, and then eventually we're just going to get rid of things that aren't as of value as the things we're picking up. Also in this route, you're going to see a lot of weapon crates, a lot of weapon parts. Again, this is up to you, but I do like to loot some of them solely for like silencers, optics, things like that I like to use in my guns. But here we got another PCU. You're going to get a lot of PCUs, so these are good to kind of store up because you do need a lot for your hideout and things like that. Also, always take a listen for things, people creeping up on you. There's something about these buildings on Reserve where they sound, the sound of you looting and moving around is a lot more loud from the outside. So I have it a lot of times where people will hear me and then they'll just kind of crouch in and wait in the corner and wait for me to run by them, just solely because they heard me looting from the outside. So just keep an eye out, always listen, make sure you're not just focused on looting the whole time because there is people that could run into this route. But typically I've ran this route, tons of times, and maybe once or twice a PMC or something like that will run on my route. But as long as you get here first, you do have the advantage. So just keep a listen out. People do love to just kind of run in here and just blindly loot. So crouching around every once in a while may help. But we're going to loot a couple of these weapon crates here, grab some weapon parts, and then we are going to head down to the first floor and loot a couple more duffel bags and computers, and then we're going to go to another locked room that downstairs that spawns tons of toolboxes and an intelligence spawn along with the jacket. So Now that we've looted the last PC, we're going to head over to the RBAM key room. And this room spawns tons of toolboxes and weapon parts on the middle desk here, and you can see all the toolboxes around. And then also underneath the green crate in the middle, there is a bench or a stool that spawns an intelligence spawn on it, so just keep a lookout for that. It wasn't here in this raid, but always make a check for that. There's also a jacket right outside the door, so make sure to grab that before you leave too. So we're going to loot all this, and then I will be back when we are heading over to Black Bishop, or Black Pawn. Now that we've looted everything of importance in this building, we're going to sprint out the front door towards the helicopter, and we are going to sprint into the south side of Black Pawn. And we're going to run right up to the first floor, and we are going to open up the weapons room and loot some of the filing cabinets and weapon parts in this room. The key for this room is going to be the RBORB3 key. Pretty cheap key, so grab this while you can. Tons of weapon parts, ammos, things like that. Really good to pick up. I think I picked up 3 suppressors here, so you can see that very good weapon parts here, along with the filing cabinets, makes this well worth the key. So. After looting all the filing cabinets, we are going to go up one more floor, and we are going to check out one more locked room. Also, make sure to check on this floor. I don't check the filing cabinets and weapon crate on that because I'm getting pretty full, and I'm trying to get out of this raid before some of the player scavs spawn and start looting some of these buildings. So I'm going to go to this last room, which is the RBOB key. It's a little expensive because it is a quest key, but if you do have it for the quest, I recommend just opening it up because there is an intel spawn and a couple more filing cabinets that I like to loot in here. So instead of just pawning it off to therapist or something like that, put it in your docs case or sticks case and just throw it in there and unlock this room and check for intel. And if you need to, you can hit the filing cabinets here. But after this, we're going to head back down to the main floor. We're going to get out, loot a couple more duffel bags, and then we are going to head up to Dome and check a couple more safes, and then we're done with this route run. Now that we're done looting Black Pawn, I like to just run out the bathroom there and head on the sidewalk, missing the bushes and just running straight up to the rocks here. And we're going to head up to Dome. Just be careful of people in the other buildings looking out the windows, and then also when running up this, if you heard sniper shots or you're early in the raid, just be careful because snipers do like to lay in the rocks here and on Dome and look down trying to get sniper shots. So I've had a couple times when I'm walking up this and people are above on the rocks. So just keep an eye out. Typically don't run, kind of just walk, save your stamina, listen for anybody, especially when walking up to Dome. you'll get the advantage if you're slow walking or just making no noise and people are running around looting in dome. So there's been a couple of times where I kind of just run in and I head steam straight to the loot and there's someone there and I just die this close to the extract. So in this clip, these are the two buildings you're going to want to loot. So sometimes they're not looted, sometimes they are. You can tell by the doors. If the doors are open, the right one is the one that you need a key for, and the left one is the one you don't. So if the doors are open, more than likely they're looted, so I just run right by them. But I'm going to show you a clip of me actually looting them, so let's go to that. In this clip, you can see I'm just kind of crouch walking, listening, making sure I don't hear anything, and then I'm going to run up here and use this key. This key is pretty inexpensive for 2 safes and a bunch of weapon parts. It's the RBKPL key. For about 56K, you get 2 safes, some weapon crates, and a weapon safe. So definitely pick up this key. It is very well needed, and the safes are worth it in one raid. So definitely pick up this key. But I'm going to loot these weapon crates here, get some weapon parts, more silencers, more grips, sights, things like that. If you're full, you can skip these, but I do recommend getting the safes even if you're full here. So we're going to loot this safe. And in this clip, I do make the mistake of opening up the second door, so don't do that. Just go back through the first door and around the fence, because I did waste 2 key uses in this raid. So don't be stupid like me. But so you can see I opened this one up, and then we're just going to head over to the other one right across here. And this one also has a safe and a PC. Check both of them multiple times. I can promise you that I've come here towards the end of my raid and I've pulled a GPU out of this CPU or this computer, and I've extracted with an extra $500,000. So just check it. It's worth the time. Use the safe. It's a free safe with no key. And then if you need to, if you're not full enough, there is a couple sets of filing cabinets that you can loot. So you can go ahead and loot that. But typically, I just loot the safe, the computer, and then I check for any weapons, and then and just book it out of here towards the cliff descent here. But we'll go back to this one. You can kind of see I just kind of crouch, make sure I don't hear anything, and then I just straight up book it. And I always check on the roof, and I always check in the windows and make sure no one's camping it. But in my whole wipe this wipe, I have not gotten camped at cliff descent. So you can always just check up top, check left, check the door, make sure no one's camping it. But that's the loot run, guys. And you can see there was no PMC interactions and barely any scav interactions.